Last Wednesday in the Malini, or the last Wednesday before last in the Malini Vijaya program that we do, I talked about the understanding in the tantric tradition, that there's only one thing, and that one thing is living consciousness. That because it's alive, has respiratory process, and that consciousness in the tradition is called Shiva, and that respiratory process or breath is called Shakti. There's only one consciousness. So that means your consciousness is not your consciousness. Consciousness in you is Shiva. The consciousness that is at your very essence is in fact universal. So, if you want to test that out, you can just start by becoming very quiet and trying to look for the boundaries of your own awareness. And when you find them, you can come back to class again. Good way of dispensing with a lot of work for see you in 100 lifetimes, when you realize there are no boundaries. To your own awareness, it is boundless. And it is your own breath that in its deepest sense is the creative force, the life force of the ultimate reality manifest in all of its diverse and unique forms. The third thing that comes is voice. And it is voice, Shiva's voice, which is also your voice, that gives rise to all of the different resonances which compose all of the different manifestations that in all of the different dimensions that happen in the whole world, in the whole universe. And voice gives rise to Maya, and Maya is very simple, it's turbulence. Maya is turbulence. The tumult of the interaction of all of the resonances. And think about it, If I say, you are all the most wonderful students in the world, which of course is how I really feel about it, how does that make you feel? But if I say, Jesus Christ, you are all a bunch of stupids and you're the worst students in the world, which I don't think, but how would that make you feel? And it is all of these different resonances that, are the source of meaning, but also the source of tumult, which keeps us turned upside down over and over again, trying to sort out what is noise and what is information. And in that tumult, all the physical forms that populate the entire universe are expressed. So because there's only one reality, and that one reality in its physical form, in its most complex and sophisticated physical form, is the human that we know of. And for our purposes tonight, I'm going to just say that's it. It may not be true, but I'm saying human body is the most complex and sophisticated physical manifestation of the ultimate reality. But what I'm really saying is, even your body is divine. Now, that is diametrically opposed to what the Judeo-Christian tradition is going to teach you, which is the body is the source of sin and evil. Ugh. Please. The body is divine, composed of cosmic creative energies condensed into the form of, first condensed into curtains of light. Curtains of light. Your body is curtains of light. It is stardust and curtains of light. That come together in the form of you. And those curtains of light interacting with one another give rise to energy flows or channels, and their conjunctions, which are called chakras, which become the residents of all the resonances in the whole universe. And the residence of all of the dimension of breath. Each of the different chakras and channels has its own breath, which is not separate from the breath of life in you, which is both, on the one hand, Maya and Vach, and ultimately Shakti. But the point is this, I'll try to keep this very simple. In each of us, this body and this mind and this life experience is composed of extraordinary creative energy. Everybody's life. It doesn't matter what kind of a schlub they are, everybody is composed of divine creative energy. And then it's up to us what we do with it. Simply put, tension and negativity never allows anything to change. Think about it. What change would negativity ever create? Well, any fool can destroy, can tear down. All you got to do is open your mouth and let some stomach gas out, and that'll kill somebody. It is, positivity that creates space and creates growth and change. And realizing that this body is composed of divine creative potential means that, there are parts of us that are completely undiscovered up till now. And I don't care how long you've been practicing, even for me, I work very hard at this. I think it is for me, the practice that I share with you and the practice that I do myself, is the most extraordinary tool I have ever experienced in my life. And I have looked a lot farther and wider than all of you put together. But, it has to be in your brain. You have to understand. And why I teach everybody, we're in this world to grow, is because you've got to understand, there are parts of you that are incredible that you have never made contact with and never cultivated and never developed. And because of the negativity that you hold in yourself for yourself and the negativity that you hold for each other and for the world, those, creative capacities are continually, blocked by the tensions which steal all our energy and destroy. And practicing, making contact over and over again with the breath and its circulation through the chakras and the channels nourishes and cultivates and gives rise to a really unimaginable creative capacity that is resident in everybody. So, when I wake up in the morning, the first thing I try to do is remember that this body and this life are extraordinary creative energies, that I am in this world to grow. And so I make contact with my body, and I first, and my mind, and my heart, and my energy mechanism, my breath. I feel in myself and feel all the parts of me and begin to make contact with that and rise up to my day, understanding today is an opportunity for me to grow and learn something, or to learn something and to grow. And to make contact with parts of myself I have never made contact with before. And to grow parts of me that are divine creative energy that I really didn't even know was there. And whether you do it or not, this is the potential that is present for each of you in your day and in your life. And it doesn't really matter what your circumstance is. I don't know if you've noticed, some of us are old enough to have noticed that life and pain, life, pain, they actually are the same thing. Life, pain. It's the same thing. It's always work. Once you hit like 8 years old, there's no play anymore. It's all work. And some work we like better than others. Some of it is fun, kind of. Some of it is less fun. It's all work. And taking responsibility for that work and the quality of our effort, realizing this life is an astonishing possibility, an astonishing opportunity to realize and to grow. We engage that growth, skip the negativity, take responsibility for our own life, and we wake up. Even this body is divine creative energy. Even this body is realization. This mind, when it is confronted, when it is controlled, is realization. When it's not, it's destruction. And one of the things about class, this experience, on a gross level, probably the most important thing about it is it makes you deal with your own mind. I know, a bunch of you here don't enjoy sitting and looking and just looking at me. You'd much rather be looking around. And your mind is telling you constantly, this is screwy, why am I doing this? I want to get out of here. What is that weird shit I'm seeing up there on the screen? Look, I've been doing this a long time. I'm not an idiot. I can see what's going on in your heads. Really, I've been sitting here for 41 years. You don't think I don't notice? But the thing is, it's just like, I talked to you about my Qigong practice, about this simple standing pose that I do. And I do it for like 40 minutes. And about 15 minutes into it, my mind starts squawking. And by the end of it, my mind is screaming. But the point is this. Rudy always used to teach us the mind is the slayer of the soul. And if you really want to find out how your mind is undermining you constantly, do that standing pose. Or sit in class for 45 minutes. And just focus on one thing. I mean, I know I'm not that pretty and not that nice to look at, but we got Sadhvi up here and John, and they come up occasionally, and all of you should really appreciate that. And that should make it easy on you. These ugly old guys that sit up here, I mean, I have no excuse. But the point is, when you confront your mind and you begin to see the ways in which it undermines your effort, then, that should make you twice as focused when you need to be. To begin to appreciate that the life that you have, not the life you want, not the life you think you ought to have, not the life somebody else has that you're jealous of, but the life you have is an astonishing opportunity. If you choose to engage it. But you have to, each of us gets to paint our own canvas. It's helpful if you know how to draw. But not necessary. But very helpful. So, your effort in your sadhana, your participation in class, your experience of connection and flow, the experience of your own energy, your own creative energy, and its connectedness and flow informs you about the possibility and transforms your awareness. And slowly you begin to appreciate that the life you have is filled with magic. And if you'd stop going around thinking constantly habitually in the same boring fashion, and start paying attention, you would be stunned and dazzled and amazed at the unimaginable possibility that lives within you and seeks to grow and express itself. I don't really need to be here by now. In a way, quite honestly, I'm over it. I think I was happy being a teacher when Rudy was alive and for a few years after that. And mostly I've been miserable in it ever since. The reason I continue to do it is because I deeply appreciate, number one, that Rudy was available to me in my life, because if I hadn't met Rudy, whatever complexity Rudy was, some people, hate gurus and think blah, 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 blah. Whatever it was a doorway I walked through that completely transformed my life. It was just one step, and how did I get here? I so profoundly believe in and respect creative energy and the possibility that it holds that I continue in my teaching effort because Rudy accepted me unconditionally and worked with and for me, and I try to do the same for whomever. But you have to appreciate that your life is full of magic. But if you don't respect it and look for it and find it and grow it, it ain't going to happen. And in your work, I'll do anything I can to possibly do to support you. Namaste.